Hey there, welcome to your Safe Place channel, the place where you can let your hair down and be yourself without judgment or shame. We totally get it. Life can be tough sometimes, and it's easy to feel like you're drowning in your own thoughts and emotions. But you know what? You don't have to go through it alone. We're here to support you every step of the way, and we're not just saying that to sound nice. We really mean it. We believe that mental health is just as important as physical health, and that's why we're passionate about creating helpful content to guide you through your journey. We're not here to give you a bunch of academic mumbo-jumbo that you can't relate to. No way. We're all about being supportive because, let's face it, sometimes a good laugh or a good cry is just what the doctor ordered. So stick around, join our community, and let's make some positive changes together. And if you're still not convinced, well, we have cookies. Okay, not really. Sorry, we wish we did, but we do have some pretty awesome content that we think you'll love. So what are you waiting for? Dive in and let's get started. Do you ever feel like your dreams are just out of reach? Or that no matter how much you achieve, you still can't seem to shake that feeling of discontentment? It's a tough spot to be in, but do you know what? You're not alone. Sometimes the root of these feelings can be traced back to a nasty little thing called self-loathing. It's when we start to believe that we don't deserve good things or that we're just not good enough. And let's be real, we've all been there at some point. I'll never forget the day I hit rock bottom. It was a few years ago, and I was in my early 20s, fresh out of college and struggling to find my footing in the real world. I felt like a complete failure. I couldn't land a job in my field, my relationship had just ended, and I felt like I was letting down everyone around me. I found myself spending hours upon hours in bed, feeling sorry for myself and replaying all of my mistakes in my head. I stopped taking care of myself, stopped seeing my friends, and stopped doing the things I loved. I felt completely lost and alone. It wasn't until a close friend reached out to me that I realized how bad things had gotten. They told me they were worried about me and that they loved me no matter what. That was the moment when it all hit me. I needed to make a change. I started seeing a therapist and opened up about everything that was weighing me down. I reconnected with my friends and family, and I started taking better care of myself. It wasn't easy, but slowly but surely, I started to feel better. Now, looking back on that dark period of my life, I'm grateful for the lessons it taught me. I learned that it's okay to make mistakes and that we're all works in progress. Most importantly, I learned to love myself, flaws and all. I still have my moments of self-doubt and self-loathing, but I know how to deal with them now. If you're watching this video, chances are you may be going through a similar experience. I want you to know that you're not alone. I've been there, feeling like a complete failure and just plain hating yourself. It's not a fun place to be. But let me tell you, you don't have to stay there forever. In this video, we've got some seriously awesome solutions to help you overcome those self-loathing feels and start living your best life. You do deserve good things. You are good enough. And we're here to remind you of that. We're all about embracing positivity, and that starts with learning to love yourself. We're not saying it's easy. Sometimes it's downright hard. But we're here to offer a helping hand, a listening ear, and maybe even a joke or two to make you smile. Because at the end of the day, we want you to feel happy, fulfilled, and loved. Now we are going to discuss 7 indicators that suggest you might be experiencing self-loathing without realizing it. We've all been our own worst critics at some point, am I right? But if you find yourself constantly tearing yourself down, it might be a sign that you're dealing with some serious self-loathing. You know what I'm talking about. Those moments when you beat yourself up over every little mistake, think way too harshly about yourself, and basically indulge in a whole lot of self-pity. It's not a fun place to be, my dear. But listen up, you don't have to stay stuck in that cycle of negativity. By showing yourself some kindness and forgiveness, you can break free from that self-loathing and start living your best life. So the next time you catch yourself being too hard on yourself, take a deep breath and remember that you're human. We all mess up sometimes, and that's okay. By showing yourself some love and compassion, you'll be amazed at how much happier you can feel. I've noticed that you tend to take the blame for things even when they're not your fault. Come on, cut yourself some slack. You should be giving yourself more credit for all the awesome stuff you do. Instead of dwelling on these little mistakes, why not focus on your successes? You've got this. Also, feeling insecure around others is totally understandable. But have you ever considered that maybe those other people are just intimidated by your awesomeness? It's worth thinking about, right? Oh no, it sounds like you might be stuck in the comparison trap. You know, when you're always measuring yourself against others and never feeling like you measure up. But listen up, my dear. That kind of harsh self-judgment is a definite sign that you need to show yourself some love. When you're busy comparing yourself to others, it's easy to forget about all the amazing things you have going for you. So why not take a break from the comparisons and focus on your own awesome qualities? After all, you've got plenty of them. Another common sign to look out for is feeling down when you're around someone who seems to have it all. Like, they're happy, confident, smart, attractive, and successful all at once. Yeah, that can be a real bummer. But listen, comparing yourself to others is like comparing apples to oranges. Everyone's got their own unique flavor, and that's what makes life interesting. And while we're on the topic of taking care of ourselves, let me ask you this. Do you take care of yourself the way you take care of your loved ones? Because let me tell you, my dear, you have to prioritize your own needs too. After all, you can't pour from an empty cup, right? Let me ask you this. Do you love yourself? Because you should. And if you really do love yourself, you've got to treat yourself right too. Neglecting self-care is like neglecting your favorite plant. It's just not going to thrive without some TLC. So, are you getting enough sleep, eating well, and doing things that make you happy? If not, it's time to make some changes, my dear. And trust me, I get it. Sometimes it's easier to put ourselves last on the to-do list. But let's not let that be an excuse for neglecting ourselves. We deserve to be pampered and taken care of just like anyone else. So go ahead and give yourself a little extra love today. Life's too short to not let yourself be happy. If you're always focused on the negatives and can't accept a compliment without feeling like it's a joke, it's time to shake things up a bit. Listen, I know it's not easy to change those negative thought patterns, but trust me, it's worth it. You deserve to feel good about yourself and your life, and it's okay to let others in to help you out when you need it. So next time someone offers you a kind word or a helping hand, don't be so quick to push them away, and try to see yourself in a more positive light, because you're awesome. It's a bummer when we don't feel good about ourselves, right? It's like we're missing out on all the fun stuff in life. I mean, who wants to deprive themselves of delight? But seriously, it can be tough to break free. We might feel like we're not worthy of happiness, or that we're just not good enough to experience it. But let me tell you, that's a bunch of hogwash. We all deserve to feel good about ourselves and our lives, and it's totally okay to indulge in a little pleasure and happiness now and then. Let's talk about how you're isolating yourself from others. Look, We all know that sometimes it's hard to maintain relationships with other people, but it seems like you're really struggling because you don't feel like you deserve love and attention from others. You might even feel like you're burdening them with your presence. But guess what? You're awesome, and people enjoy being around you. Don't let your negative thoughts about yourself hold you back from forming connections with others. But it's important to remember that you should always be true to yourself and not pretend to be someone you're not just to please others. Also, dreaming big is totally okay, and it's actually encouraged. Who knows, you might surprise yourself and achieve more than you ever thought possible. So go ahead and dream big, my dear. We all have our own set of habits that can be detrimental to our overall well-being. It's totally normal to struggle with feelings of insecurity, emptiness, and worthlessness from time to time. But it's important to recognize when these feelings turn into self-hatred. By becoming more aware of our negative self-talk, we can work towards learning to love ourselves and living a happier, healthier life. Did any of these points hit home for you? Remember, you're not alone in this struggle, and it's okay to admit that you have moments of self-doubt and negative self-talk. Now, if you're ready to take the next step towards building self-confidence, I highly recommend checking out our next video on that very topic.